Welcome to Shaping E-commerce with IronPlane. This is where we talk about e-commerce development, solutions, digital marketing, and all things e-commerce. Be sure to check out the description below each video to find additional resource links and show notes. We upload new videos each day. Please like and subscribe to our channel.
In this episode, Project Manager Michael Lazarus gives a general overview of subscription services. Plus, he talks about the importance of taking the customer-centric approach and offering flexible options when managing e-commerce subscription programs. Hi, welcome back to Shaping E-commerce with IronPlane. Today I'm here with Michael Lazarus, one of our project managers here at IronPlane. And in today's episode of our e-commerce tech series, Michael will be giving us a general overview of subscription services and solutions. So hi, Michael. Why don't you give a quick introduction and tell us a little bit about your background and what you do here at IronPlane?
Sure. Thanks, Susan, for having me. So my background has primarily been in credit cards and technology and POS systems and e-commerce. And currently what I'm doing at IronPlane is helping customers kind of look at what they're trying to implement from what we call an MVP, so minimum viable product, as well as implementing phases after that, adding functionality to help them achieve their business goals.
Great. So I'm very excited to learn more about how brands can utilize a subscription service to boost revenue. So what exactly is a subscription service? Can you give us a general overview?
Yeah, so just a high-level overview of what a subscription is. I mean, many people have them today and don't even know. Your newspaper is a subscription, obviously. Anything you're buying music on a monthly basis, TV on a monthly basis. So any type of recurring revenue that's happening on a regular basis is really subscriptions. And what we've seen over the last 10 to 15 years is that this has now moved into hard goods as well as just some type of service like music or papers or news, things like that. But now you've got wine clubs, you've got cheese clubs, etc. You've got companies like Home Depot sending out light bulbs every year or something. So you can imagine all the different types of products you use on a regular basis that can turn into a subscription. So there's all the new meal kits that are available. There's the subscriptions. So anything like that you can purchase on a regular basis is a subscription. And what I think businesses have realized over the last 15 years is that the cost of acquiring a customer is greater than keeping that customer. So they've come up with methodologies, strategies to keep that customer engaged, and that's why you've seen a growth in subscriptions.
Yeah, because I know several beauty brands have a subscription service and stuff like that. So you mentioned a lot of great examples. Is there what kind of companies are best suited for the subscription service model? Is it all e-commerce or is it just across the board?
I think it's across the board. I don't think it really matters. It's there's, like I said, the wine of the month club. There's cheese of the month club. Whatever you may be as a consumer buying on a regular basis, they'll turn into a subscription. Again, it's really about taking that view, or at least for the company's view, as to I'm making an investment to acquire that customer, and what will that lifetime value be of that customer, and how can I reduce my cost to keep them and acquire new customers. So I think that's really what drives any types of subscription. It could be, Apple's doing it with music. They're going to be doing it with hardware soon. So there's really no stopping of where it can be.
Okay, and then when developing a subscription service program, what do companies or brands need to establish first? Is it product types, selling options? What do they need to get started?
That's a great question. So I think the first thing to really think about is putting the customer at the center, not a product at the center. And what I mean by that is a lot of these subscriptions started out very inflexible. So they gave you one product and that was it. You couldn't change anything. So that was all you could buy. And what I think I'm seeing now is more customer-centric. So what I mean by that is allowing me to change the frequency of the purchase. So maybe it's I'm buying some type of diet supplement or food meal plan. So instead of I'm on their schedule, I'm on my schedule. So what I mean by that, maybe I only want to buy 2 meals a week or 3 meals a week. And maybe I only want it every other week. So the flexibility for that is what I think I see organizations really needing to focus on first, is that strategy of how often, what the quantity of the product, things like that. And then looking at the platform to do that. And when I say platform, there's 2 different pieces to it, because there's setting up that subscription. So what's that first engagement look like? Is it by phone? Is it an ad on TV? Is it an ad in a newspaper? So what does that engagement look like to set up the subscription? And what does that customer experience look like? What is that journey? How hard is that to be? So that's kind of setting up the subscription. And then the next piece to that is setting up what I'll call the management of that. So as you go along, how easy is it for me to pause my subscription, cancel my subscription, things like that. And that what will happen there is that depending on the customers and the frequency, et cetera, you're giving the customer an opportunity to opt out. And that's where we're trying to help customers say, or our customers realize, we want to minimize that opportunity for customer to voluntarily stop getting the subscription, or even involuntarily stop getting the subscription. And when I say involuntarily, mean they change their address so the credit card fails, or the night they were processing my order, they didn't have a connection to their credit card gateway, so the order got delayed. Or I cancel, or I call up to pause my subscription and I have a problem. So reducing any of that friction along that process is really that subscription management piece, is to keep that as smooth as possible so that they are able to keep that customer happy and engaged.
And then, so what kind of platforms or websites are needed for a subscription service? Can you build this type of service on Magento or BigCommerce?
So it really depends on the scale of your business. If you've got, let's say, 50 to 500 subscriptions, I believe you can build that on any of the platforms today. Really, what's the key here is when you're doing what I called before the subscription management piece, or the rebilling, that volume will determine what platform you should be on. So once you get over that 500 platform to threshold to 1,000, et cetera, you want to start looking at having a dedicated platform to do that, that's going to better manage that processing. If you are doing it through Magento or some other e-commerce platform, you're going to be just increasing your orders per day, and that's not necessarily, it can't do that, but you're definitely clogging it up or adding additional requirements on it that it's not really built to do. So once you start getting over that 1,000 to 2,000 threshold of processing orders per day, you really want to start looking at a platform that can integrate with any of these e-commerce platforms. And that will then bring you to a new kind of level in terms of being able to do that upfront subscription engagement and management, as well as starting to look at enhanced strategies in terms of revenue recovery, reducing involuntary churn, things like that. So you start moving up to a whole new strategy level of engagement with customers using these platforms that are dedicated to running subscriptions, not just transactions. So if you don't have the bandwidth to start to engage with customers at this higher level of engagement to reduce that revenue, increase your revenue, reduce the churn, then Magento, BigCommerce, Shopify, they'll all do fine. But once you start getting higher volumes, you really want to start to look at these more intelligent ways of keeping your customers and again, increasing that revenue and reducing that churn.
Okay, so does the Magento platform have an existing subscription service integrations? Is it customizable? Do you need a developer?
So Magento out of the box does not have a subscription module in it. There are quite a few modules that are out there, but those are going to leverage Magento to do the processing, and they're not necessarily going to give you that level of enhancement that I'm talking about as you grow the business above that threshold to start looking at more intelligent ways of recovery, retention. They don't do the simple things easily. So for example, it's going to use Magento to do the processing. And if you are using a single processor, there are times of point of failure with that single processor. So if one night you're processing those 500 orders and you can't get to that processor for a few hours, you're not going to have those orders done that night. Where some of these other platforms will integrate to multiple platforms. So you'll have a failover. So for some reason, you can't get to that gateway that evening. They'll be able to go to a different gateway and process those orders. So you're not losing time to process those. And you're not overtaxing, you'll reduce the burden on Magento if you look at these other platforms.
And so then what about marketing automations and like email integrations? Are there integrations to help upsell products or like push notifications?
Again, the modules that are built in or built with on top of Magento don't necessarily have many of those enhanced features. When you get to these other platforms, they have numerous different things. So they'll have emails to go out to remind the customer, in 3 days you're going to get billed. Oh, by the way, did your address change? Please update your credit card payment. Or we noticed that the last month we had an issue with one of your cards. Please add another card to your profile so that there's 2 cards. So in case one fails, we can always make sure that there's another card. So there's a lot more of that automation intelligence that are built into these platforms than there are into these modules. So again, these modules that are based on Magento, these platforms are really integrated or can be integrated into almost any system and used for much more than just e-commerce. So that they're much more intelligent in the ways that they do things. And they have open APIs so that no matter what platform you're using, you can integrate with them.
Okay, great. Okay, so that sums up kind of our overview. Thanks, Michael. That was a great discussion on subscription services and some solutions. And then in our next episode, we will be discussing subscription engine functionality, and we'll offer some key takeaways to subscription setups, pricing, and product offerings. So once again, thanks for joining us on Shaping E-commerce. Please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more episodes in our e-commerce tech series.
For more insights on how to improve your e-commerce website and for a free consultation, visit IronPlane.com. Follow us on social media and like and subscribe below.